You're going to see a steady improvement on that score. What you have to keep in mind is we're still in the shakeout cruise of a new program.
You're responsible for the bottom line on the shakeout cruise, are you not, Mr. Andrews?
Yes, I am.
And there's no question but that the bottom line is helped the fewer hospital referrals are made.
Like it or not, medical care is a business today. No HMO can survive without conducting a realistic cost-benefit analysis of its treatment protocols.
Brian Gallant was treated 11 times. 3 violent altercations. Another 5 visits for irrational behavior. Was your failure to authorize even 1 psychiatric referral part of the cost-benefit analysis?
I was relying on the clinic physician's observations to determine a course of treatment.
You had him on tranquilizers non-stop.
I didn't have him on anything. That was Sanders' call. And by the way, according to his chart, he was responding to the medication.
So you were reviewing his medical chart?
Mr. Andrews?
Periodically, yes.
You were being kept aware of his progress, or lack thereof, periodically.
Yes.
And you were authorizing his medication.
I was authorizing the expenditure. I'm not the prescribing physician.
Tell the jury what Mr. Gallant's complaint was the last 3 times he was seen at the clinic.
There's no complaint indicated.
No complaint. In a company as cost-conscious as yours, isn't it a fact that the only reason you would be spending money on medication where there was no complaint would be to prevent what was otherwise inevitable?
No.
Because you knew that it was inevitable that without medication, Brian Gallant would become violent.
That's not true.
And when the time came, you were only too happy to see him go, because a hospital stay or a psychiatric evaluation would have been contrary to your cost-benefit analysis.
Objection. Counsel's making speeches.
Ask a question, Mr. McCoy.
Isn't it a fact that you knew exactly what kind of danger Brian Gallant posed upon being released?
I didn't know.
You didn't want to know.
The big, bad HMO. Uncaring, unfeeling, placing profits before people in its savage quest to make money. A convenient political target, if ever there was one. Criminally responsible for one man killing another man, not on your life. If there were an outbreak of tuberculosis, or if prisoners were dying due to negligent medical care, Philip Andrews would have to answer for that. If he took a money-be-damned approach and dispensed medical care at Rikers Island as if it were the Mayo Clinic, he would have to answer for that too. And I might add, answer to you, the taxpayers, as well. So he does his job professionally, compassionately. And for doing his job, they want to send him to jail. A few short weeks ago, Brian Gallant pled guilty to manslaughter in the 1st degree, a plea that could only be entered with the approval of this prosecutor. And now, this same prosecutor is back here with bigger fish to fry. Don't let the political ambitions of a district attorney pervert this court of law. Whatever political capital Mr. McCoy and his boss can extract from it, don't let it be done to our system of justice. Don't let it happen to this innocent man.
No one should be heard to say that providing medical care at Rikers Island is easy, nor is it the position of this district attorney's office that there aren't legitimate financial constraints on the provider. We've heard that the defendant operating under those constraints is just a simple man doing the best he could. Let's look at that a little bit. Brian Gallant was at Rikers for a year. He was medicated on a daily basis by the defendant's company With the defendant's knowledge, on the day he was released, he was hallucinating and disoriented. Nonetheless, he was handed over to the Department of Corrections, who dropped him off at a subway station in the middle of the night. He was given no medication, no referral for ongoing care, not an address to go to, not a phone number to call. This was not done by accident or oversight. This was the express instruction of the defendant. Was not the violent behavior of Brian Gallant a foreseeable event? Was not the defendant well aware not only of Mr. Gallant's propensities, but of the risk he constituted for every person he came in contact with? The answer is, of course he was aware of it. Of course, he chose to ignore it. Of course, it was his recklessness that brought about this woman's death. Find him guilty, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves it.
Madam Forelady, I understand the jury's reached a verdict.
We have. On the first count of the indictment charging manslaughter in the second degree, we find the defendant not guilty. On the lesser included charge of criminally negligent homicide, we find the defendant guilty.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. Dateline wants to interview me about the verdict.
Jane Pauley or Stone Phillips?
Stone Phillips.
They'll probably try to get you to say it opens the door to massive malpractice claims.
Well, it's worth it if it changes the way HMOs do business in this city. How much time will Andrew serve with good behavior?
Under a year.
Good. That means jail, not state prison. He'll serve it at Rikers. Let's hope he has a good immune system.